in the midst of all this chaos that's going on in Chicago and anywhere that our dumbass president wants to send troops because he doesn't have the authenticity nor the gall to do it legislatively, we finally see some businesses pushing back. That was Chicago. And businesses have said, if you're with ICE and you're chasing people and arresting them illegally, we're not letting you in our door. So they shut the door, and I would employ more businesses to do things of that nature. We're going to cover the mess going on in Chicago. We're going to cover how people are losing benefits left and right. And those that know better know it's not the Democrats' fault. We've also got North Carolina gerrymandering the voting block worse than Texas. Can you imagine? How do North Carolina, my state, how do we gerrymander something worse than Texas? We're going to cover that. And we're also going to get into some little known facts. Of course, we're going to do what we've had it with. I want you guys to post that. Lamont Tyson, Politics of Being Black. This show starts right now.
I'm up early for the dealers come out. Everybody is outside till the killers come out. You ain't eating, you just act full. I'm impactful. Dozen funerals in a month. I got that pull. I will give it to niggas in all rap forms. Ignatius out right now on all platforms.
That's right. You're in the building with your boy, Lamont Tyson. Please be sure to subscribe to this channel. Go check out the podcast. It's on Spotify. If you want to know everything I do and you want to get the newsletter, you can go right here, beacons.ai/politics of being black. There you get to see my IMDb. You get both of my Instagrams. You get my TikTok. Whatever access you want to get to me, you can get it all from that one place. As I oftentimes do, I bring on special people that are doing a lot of great work in the community. Today, I have someone who is an activist for equality, a warrior for making sure people can get the resources that they need. This sister's name is Tracy, and I ain't talking about Tracy Morgan, ladies and gentlemen. She looks 3 times better than that fool. I give you, ladies and gentlemen, Tracy Morris. How you doing, Miss Tracy?
Hey, everybody. That was a great introduction. I'm doing good, and I'm so happy to be on your show, Lamont.
Well, thank you for coming, and I'm glad that you came. You get to see the pulse of people with the kind of work that you do, so you're seeing the issues people are dealing with on a day-to-day basis that they don't see on the news, the type of things that Trump and the admin and leadership never really deal with. They just leave it for somebody else to deal with it, and I'm so happy you came here to give your perspective from that lens.
Oh, yes, definitely. Like, as you know, like my 9-to-5 job is I work as a lead mental health qualified professional, and that's based in Cumberland County in community care. So I've been doing that job for almost like 4 years. But as a whole, I've been working in the human service field. Don't look like my age, but close to 20 years. And I love it. I feel like I have my superwoman cape on, and then I'm always like I'm saving individuals, and I hear like the real life issues that they go through. So it's a good thing when you work in social work, you have that boots on the ground, so you get to like hear their stories, their real life experiences. And I love working with the homeless. I've been doing that for almost 4 years, and then some of them, we kind of like pass them by, and then we look down on them. But when you get a chance to know them, you realize they're real life human beings. And I even had like some of my clients, they say thank you for just taking the opportunity to talk to me, because like they just treat us, objectify us, and they think we're just lazy, we drunks, and we're nobody. But unfortunately, these people go through life.
Well said, my sister. And oftentimes, human beings that get into a certain position of privilege, they forget that the same problems they have with money, people have those problems without money, and they seek refuge in places that the folks with money seek refuge in too. And a lot of times it's not good. Drugs, alcohol, lewd behaviors. They do all those things, and they've got the resources versus the people that don't have the resources and don't know where to go. And you're someone that's there to help guide them. So we thank you for your time and coming here and doing the kind of work that you do. And let's get into this show, ladies and gentlemen. Our first segment is the We've Had It. And Tracy, I got some music for the We Have It. Check this out. That was a cartoon. That was a cartoon of me and my homegirl Claire from TikTok. Shout out to Claire. Tracy, what have you had it with that's going on right now in the world. Safe space here. Anything's on the table.
Everything. All I can say is this is a wake up call for people to really get out and vote like never before and be prepared. And I remember like I was at my job and I go to this day resource center. That's a center that we have for the homeless people. And it's pretty much like a place where they hang out throughout the day. They have their lunch there, they can shower, and resources are there. So our company, we're contracted to be there at least like certain days out the week. And I commune and talk with the homeless. And then I remember talking to like my homeless client, and he mentioned that he's trying to seek services through this agency. And then some of these like agencies, they partner with Medicaid. So that's how these agencies get their funding, through Medicaid. And then so with this program, it's called the ACT program, which means assertive. You have to forgive me if I'm not saying the right acronym. I want to say it's assertive community treatment. And then they have CST, which means community service treatment. So those programs help individuals that has a more severe mental health diagnosis, assist them with their mental health and their housing. So as you know, the government shutdown, some of this stuff is on hold. So that means people vouchers who's close to getting housed is on hold. And then so one of the clients, he came up to me, he said, it's hard for me to get some stuff. And then he said, I have to admit, I voted for Trump. And I was like, why you voted for Trump? He said, I thought I was getting a stimulus check. And I was telling my friends, and the people was in the community, the homeless community was telling each other, vote for Trump. He's going to give you that stimulus check. And that just shows a lack of knowledge. So if they're not aware, this is a big wake-up call.
Wonderful. We've had it. My rebuttal to that is, on top of them being misinformed, I also have to say that Trump is doing, and the Republicans have done a better job of, when they do something, claiming it by name, versus when the Democrats do good things, we just think that we'll do it. We don't want to take no credit for it. But we're obviously, because of Trump, we're living in the age of delightment. He's made it cool for people to think that education is bad. He's made it cool for people to think that blame the brown people for all the ills in your life. And that person that voted for Trump, thinking he was going to get another stimmy, is what they called it the first time when when COVID hit. Trump didn't pass out the checks, if you can recall, until Nancy Pelosi allowed him to put his name on it. And that's how some people see policy. If you don't bullhorn the things that you're doing, people don't know that you're doing it. And we've got to do a better job of either getting in front of those type of issues and claiming it when we do good, or we've got to make sure that people are getting the kind of education they need. And I'm for the latter more than the first one, but I'll take both of them. So that's my rebuttal. Well said, my sister. And now we'll get into my I've had it. My I've had it is the lie white men have always told the regular common person about how to make it in America. And I fell victim to it too when I was a child. Do you remember this racist wrestler named Hulk Hogan?
Oh, yes. Because he passed away. Was it August or July?
Yeah, he kicked the bucket recently. Okay. When I was a child, he used to always run around running around with his damn American flag, telling children, say your prayers, eat your vitamins, work hard, and you can be like Hulk. And as a child, I believed in that fiction. I'm not going to lie. So I'm up there eating my Flintstones vitamins, eating too much of them, by the way, eating the whole damn carton, thinking I'm going to get like Hulk Hogan. And I'm carrying around my little flag and I'm praying on my Bible, only to become an adult and learn that all that was a lie. That man was taking steroids more than a cow can poop in a pasture. So what I have learned through business and from him, most white dudes that tell you bootstrapping and all that, they're lying. They're cheating somehow. There's a steroid in there some way, somehow, that they don't tell you about. Maybe it's that they have an inside connection to whatever it is they're doing. Maybe they've gotten some hand-me-down, some inherited money or something. It's never been the way that they tell you. And right now, it is completely on Front Street for people to see. And it frustrates me that people see it, especially other white dudes who claim to be religious. They see it and they continue to give the Republicans and people who lie in that manner a pass. And I've had it.
Yeah. I just wonder why they're so angry. They won the election.
They're angry. They are angry because there's years of pent up frustration that they haven't made it.
Yeah.
And in their mind, they like to tell us that there's no such thing as white privilege. And to a lot of them, they don't see the privilege because they haven't made it like certain white guys have made it, because they fell victim to the same fallacy I fell victim for. All you got to do is pray and work your finger to the bone and you're going to prosper. And it don't just work like that. There needs to be some education involved. There needs to be some networking involved. There needs to be some connecting involved. And sometimes you got to humble yourself to get to the next level. And they're not willing to do any of that because they know that there is an installed privilege that they have and they hate to see. And when I say hate, they hate to see women and minorities not only getting ahead, but being educated. Miss Tracy, you and other women as educated as you are a white guy's worst nightmare. It's not a black man, it's the educated black woman. And you see how they took it out on Kamala Harris.
Yes. And pretty much like people, that was more concerned about what color is she, was her nationality. And then we was telling, and she was pretty much her campaign warning people 2025, Project 2025, y'all better be alert. But people was more concerned like her nationality, and they fed into it. And so now they reaping the consequences of actions.
And unfortunately, Tracy, some of them are comfortable with seeing the country burn down and their neighbors burn down as long as they get to see it and be in the same house with their neighbor while the house is on fire. As long as their neighbor can burn up before they burn up, they're happy to see them suffer, even though they're suffering too. We have a lot of that going around, which is what really makes you feel like these folks are dealing with like some form of mental disorder, Stockholm syndrome, or something to that effect.
Yeah.
Whereas you do have like the elite rich people, when they're going to always vote Republican, no matter hell or high water, no matter how much someone breaks the law, no matter how much someone's covering for pedophiles, you're going to always have those folks that want to yell at me and you about socialism, tell us how bad socialism is, when all they do is the same thing. They socialize the government's money for their gain and tell me and you not to do the same. And if they get to capitalize on the socialized money that they get as rich people, they're fine. And then they want the taxes lowered. But they tell me and you that we shouldn't have social programs and socialism is bad. And they're using socialism is just for the fact that they're rich and we're not. I have big problems with all that. So post your comments, y'all. Let us know what you think. How do you feel about what we've had it with? And let us know in the comments what you've had it with so we can rebuttal to that.
Yeah.
A little bit. Go ahead, Tracy.
And I think what it is like they don't know our experience. They objectify us. And that's been passed down from generations. And you think back to the slavery era, they was like the masters and they saw us as their property. And then since the Emancipation of Proclamation, we was free. And then so they was like, we don't consider them as citizens. So that's when the KKK was formed. And that's when Jim Crow laws was on form. And then it was pretty much like separating us from the good American dream. And then that, as a result, we had to build our own like Tulsa community, our own HBCUs. And then you see what happened to Tulsa, and that set us back. Every time we wanted to step ahead, they found a way to push us back. So I think it's like a power grab. They want that form of control. And then, like you mentioned, like when you had like the civil rights era, we fought for our rights. And then so they didn't like that. So some of them, they suppressed their anger, and then it linger and linger. And then you have Trump that's in office. He's giving them a voice to hate. So they was like, if he's like their white version of Obama, so it's giving them a voice. Well, okay, I could say hate and I could say the N word, and then you see they more bold now, like never before.
Right. I wouldn't even compare Trump to the antithesis of Obama, because Obama, granted, he inspired us hope and change and he was black. Obama was more of a centrist Democrat than he was extreme left.
Yeah.
Trump is about as extreme far right wing as we can probably go back to Andrew Jackson when he took over for Lincoln. He was a racist himself. I mean, just horrible. And Trump is that bad. I mean, when you talk about the KKK, he's using the military as his KKK force. That's what he's doing right now. And we'll get to that subject in just a second. I'm going to get us on like a lighthearted subject before we get into the deep dives. You guys let us know what you think. Be sure to subscribe. Beacons.ai/politics of being black. You can get every outlet I'm on from that one link, and you can get a newsletter here and there talking about things you might not have heard in politics. I got a fact for you, Miss Tracy. Are you ready for it?
I'm ready for it. Let's go.
All right, take a good look at this.
What is that?
Miss Tracy, this study says that men should ejaculate an average of 21 times per a month to help with prostate cancer. Now, the challenge here is, if you have a significant other, are you willing to help that man save his life? Because, Miss Tracy, this is cancer. This is no longer an issue of men just want to have sex. The data is saying that if you help this man get his ejaculation on, he can reduce prostate cancer. And before you rebuttal, let me explain to you the study. A Harvard Medical School study found that men who ejaculated at least 21 times per month may have significantly lower risk of developing prostate cancer. Research followed over 30,000 men for nearly, listen to this, 2 decades, good gracious sakes, and found that and found that frequent ejaculation helps flush out toxins and old seminal fluid, which could otherwise contribute to inflammation and cell damage in the prostate. Regular sexual activity, whether with a partner, and the men are going to hate me for saying this, or solo, was linked to better prostate health, better mood, and even improved sleep and quality of life. Damn, boy, that DNA just can't get out of a man. So, Miss Tracy, what do you think about this study? And should women be encouraged to help these poor men out? Because as we have helped y'all out with breast cancer, we need y'all to help us out with prostate cancer.
Hey, look, it's an interesting study because I remember seeing that, but I didn't get a chance to read it thoroughly. But my thing is, like, long as it help prevent cancer, prostate cancer, that's all that matters. That's how I see it as. I'll say, you know, it's kind of a joke. It's a fun little subject, but I will say this. Men who tend to be married or with a significant other, just that part, health quality increases. I think it was something like 30, 40 times, because a lot of men, if you're not with a significant other, you're not watching your health. You're not getting regular checkups with the doctor. You're not checking in with mental health professionals when you're doing bad. And you don't have all the stress relief that they're saying comes with intercourse because you don't have someone. You're not doing all those things. And so, having said that, I would tell men that if you're not in a situation with a significant other, be sure to take the opportunity to get a check on your health, go see your doctor regularly, so that when you get with that significant other, she's not having to carry all the load of making sure you're healthy. Y'all can do it as a unit. That's what I'll say about that. Yeah,
but yeah,
Angelo passed away from prostate cancer.
See, there you go. See, ladies and gentlemen, Tracy, get it? I'm gonna say, like, help a man get a nut, ladies and gentlemen, and ladies or gentlemen, either one, or however you like it. Help that man get a nut.
Like I said, that's a study. That's a study. But I always think, like, if you eat healthy, like certain foods that help with the prostate, it can prevent cancer too. So I'm for that too, eating healthy.
Yeah, I'm all for the overall quality of life. That's why I was encouraging men to go to the doctor, whether they're with someone or not. Get regularly checked up, because the best medicine usually is prevention, and prevention and early detection. So don't wait to get with a woman to take care of your bodies, fellas. Go to the doctor, get that stuff checked on. So post y'all's comments. Let us know what you think. By the way, Miss Tracy, you're doing an excellent job so far. You know, I can go to sleep, give you the wheels to this airplane, and feel confident you can fly us to safety. You're doing a good job. Keep on doing it. Here we go.
I appreciate it.
The next subject I call the hypocrisy corner. Are you ready for this one, Miss Tracy?
I'm ready.
As we see how MAGA has been behaving and those far-right Republicans and those triple damn Trumpers, a lot of behavior that they would point the finger at us and say we're doing, we start catching them doing it more and more often. So take this guy, for example, Mr. ICE agent, racist ICE agent who was driving drunk with his kid now. Think about this, Tracy. All these MAGA dudes want to use religion to try to propagandize people into behaving a certain way. And they always try to pretend like they're holier than thou. And then they got the nerve to be racist. Racist ICE agent was driving drunk with his kid in his truck and racially profiled local officers. Scott, this is whatever his last name is, begged not to be arrested for a DUI over losing his kids. He begged. So here's an ICE agent that's running down with a mask on, finding minorities left and right, probably doing God knows what to them, gets caught not being a good person, and is begging a police officer for mercy. He would never show an iota of empathy to the brown migrants he ripped away from their families on a regular basis. Tracy, is that not karma, a hypocrisy? Floor is yours.
I'll say one is hypocrisy. And the reason why it's hypocrisy is like with your job, like you're going raiding like inner cities and like stripping like families away and not having like mercy on family members. You just stripping them away. And then it's pretty much like I said, you objectifying like individuals. So this is what America is made of. Like we are a culture melting pot, and we have, and this country is built on immigrants. And truth be told, I would say like the white supremacists, you know, they stole this land. Well, if you want to go back to Christopher Columbus days, that's how I see it as. And then I would say more like it is like reaping what he sowed, because now like he's in a situation where he's in trouble, and then so he want the police to have empathy on him, but he didn't have that empathy when he was like separating migrants away from their families. That's how I see it as. So sometimes like a hard head make a soft bottom, so he gotta listen, have to realize the choices he made, the bad choices. That's how I see it as. So sometimes, like if you don't learn the easy way, you learn the hard way.
No, Tracy didn't say fuck around and find out, y'all. That's what she said. She said fuck around and find out.
In a nice way. I said it in a nice way. You know?
Yeah. Those were my words, people, not hers. So don't try to put words in her mouth. That was me saying it. I agree with you on that. And people that have followed me for a long time know my stance on what you just said about when the whites came here. And you are absolutely right. Not only did they come here and steal it from one group of people, but Tracy, think about they stole it from the Queen too. The Queen sent their asses over here to explore and find the resources and bring it back. They get over here, take it from the natives and say, oh no, the hell with the Queen. We keeping this shit for ourselves. It's nice. So they really stole it from two groups of people. So we'll throw that out there. And oftentimes when white people, if they don't know me, they hear me chastising the bad behaviors, the false religion, and all the bad things that these MAGA white guys do. Some of them will say that I hate white people, and that's not true. And I always say the ones who say that, you're probably the problem. I always reach out and say that the things that blacks and all people have been able to achieve would not have been able to be achieved without the help of white people that felt some level of sympathy and empathy for us to get in the voting booths, to get in the head of these white dudes that was controlling things and say, these people deserve to have rights too. And people that know me know that that's how I feel. So when someone says, oh, he said this about, I don't care, because that means you're the problem. If you feel offended by that, then you are part of the problem. Examine yourself. Tracy, I hope this man gets punished to the extent that the law can punish him, because I'm always telling people we're never going to get this cancer of MAGA and this mindset that these white guys have until they feel pain, until they are punished, until the laws that are on the books are not patty caked, and that they are sentenced to prison to the extent that law can send them. In the way that the law used to send black dudes to jail for 30 years for having a dime bag of weed, we need to start seeing these lying, racist, entitled white dudes who do stuff like what he did. And I will add white collar crime too, because that's just as bad and can ruin families even worse. They need to be punished as hard as the law can punish them. That is the only way we're going to ever stomp out this cancer of MAGAism and racism. And I want to hear from you guys. Let me know what you think. Do y'all feel sorry for homeboy? I don't. I don't. Sorry. Get a life, dude. Get a different job. You do not need to be in a position of power running around. And that's the issue with a lot of dudes like that, Tracy. A lot of these country dudes. Me and you, we're from the country, kind of. We see a lot of these white dudes that want to be authoritative figures go get jobs as volunteer firemen. They go try to be cops. They do all this bull job because, number one, they don't value education the way me and you do. Number two, they just want to be worker bees. And then number three, they want to be respected by someone, looked up to by someone. So they do this type of crap. And that is not what we need in these positions of authority. We don't need it. We need someone who's even keel, level-minded, and is there to resolve an issue, not create one. Yeah. Which brings me to your subject, Miss Tracy. What is going on in Chicago? Let's take a look at what's been going on in Chicago. And here's the latest story, Miss Tracy. In their stupid ICE raid sent there by Trump, they grabbed a 19-year-old who had nothing to do with nothing. Take a look at this.
He's a citizen! He's a citizen!
A takedown by immigration officers recorded outside a Walgreens store as loved ones pleaded for his release.
You don't know what's going on, so get the back!
It happened after federal agents were seen swarming the store, appearing to be in search of someone.
When he called for backup, other people come in, and that's when I start to leave.
But Warren King says he didn't get far from the exit before being tackled to the ground by a federal agent and placed under arrest. The 19-year-old is now left with scars, both physical and mental.
I'm telling them I'm a U.S. citizen. I'm here. I'm legal. I'm born here. So they didn't try to hear none of that, though.
It all apparently stems from this collision captured on video at nearby 105th and Avenue N, showing Border Patrol agents and this white truck crashing into a red SUV Tuesday morning. It happened following a chase that residents say circled the neighborhood for nearly 30 minutes after Homeland Security says the driver, an alleged undocumented immigrant, rammed into their agent's vehicle. Deployed tear gas soon enveloped the crowd that gathered in protest, some of them throwing items at agents, including eggs. Video shows one teenager being detained. Tonight, their attorney says they are an American citizen and have since been released. As for the crash, DHS says 2 undocumented immigrants were arrested. King tells me he sat with both of them in a car for hours before he was released.
They just accepted their defeat, you know. It wasn't no talking and a back between both of them, and they knew each other. I just graduated high school, so they could come from literally anybody, and that's not right.
Tracy, I'm gonna give the floor to you first.
No.
When you see this type of foolishness that has been orchestrated by the Trump administration, how does it make you feel? It makes my skin crawl because I hear some people out here enjoying this. It's cruelty, and they're getting their right. All that study said about having ejaculations. There's real human beings like Stephen Miller that see this cruelty and jack off to it. Period. And they enjoy the cruelty. And what frustrates me about this and having other people say that they like this, where was Trump on January the 6th when all those rioters flooded the White House and was climbing all over the White House looking like some damn white spider monkeys? Where was him sending the National Guard in there? They were nowhere to be found. You know why? Because they're criminals. And a lot of the National Guard and folks that was at that riot are in these special forces and in these military. And so now he's just giving them a reason to go around and terrorize people, even legal people, which is the issue we're all having. Floor is yours, Miss Tracy.
Yeah, and then what it is pretty much like who's the person behind the uniform, the ICE agent uniforms. They come and then they terrorize like individuals on the streets that's like mind their business. And then you have it where individuals they afraid to even go to work or go to school. And I remember reading an article just recently of a young kid like he was diagnosed with cancer of some sort, and then so he was recovering from cancer, and then his father he's taken away by ICE. And then so I feel like with Trump, he always had Chicago as a target, and it was pretty much like he couldn't wait to like execute his power and then use like his ICE agents. And pretty much this is like terrorizing for like Chicago. And then I know it's tough on the governor, and then you have like Mayor Johnson. They're like dealing with the daily issues that's going on in Chicago and Illinois, and then they got to do this on top of like dealing with Trump, and then like the fight to prevent National Guards from coming here illegally. So it's a sad situation, and it is to the point where, like I said, these people in the uniforms, some of them never know who they are, like MANA supporters, so they feel drunk in power, like, let me terrorize you and this person. And then for the most part, the people like they terrorizing they innocent people. Like you have like the video clipping of the young 19-year-old. He was a U.S. citizen.
Miss Tracy, what's so frustrating to me about this, it kind of goes into more of the hypocrisy territory. So Republicans and folks like that claim they love the police force so damn much. Like they love the police. They wear their Blue Lives Matters flags. They drape themselves and they take baths with it and shit. They love them so much. And they hate Democrats because during Trump's first term, they took the term defund the police and they ran with it the wrong way. Whereas, the term wasn't meant to defund the police. It was meant to reallocate funds to mental health, because every issue doesn't require an officer going out there to intimidate or escalate a situation. And so them same people that was all don't defund the police, either they don't know or they don't care, or they're just showing you how much of a hypocrite they are. Do they realize that Trump took all this money from the big ugly bill that should have went to police and local EMT and circumvented it to the ICE budget?
Yeah.
So you MFers that be sitting around here, I love the police, don't defund them. He just defunded them. Money that could have went to the police, he took it out of the budget to give it to ICE so that he could use them as his personal police force, because he can control them. He can't control the local municipalities' police, but he can control the Homeland Security. And then he's got that broad running around, Kristi Noem, who cosplays every single day as if she's someone official and can do something. It is sickening. And all these military-loving, police-loving folks that would normally say, I hate it when someone says defund the police because I wear my Blue Lives Matters flag. Where's your asses at now when you see this cruelty? Where's your asses at now? Yeah. Where are you at now when you know Trump has defunded the police to give it to ICE? Tracy, I just want them to be honest about it. They just hate black. Well, they are. They let Trump do it. They hate black and brown people. And if Trump really was about solving the immigration problem, instead of sending ICE in the middle of the streets to try to round up people and not give them due process, you know what he could do, Tracy? They know good and damn well the white men that these immigrants are working for, illegally or legally. They know who they work for. You could literally go and arrest the white dudes who are hiring these illegal immigrants, and that would be a good way to choke off the immigration issue. But Tracy, have you heard them doing that? No.
I haven't.
No, and they're not. They're not going to do it. So that just tells you they're not serious about fixing immigration. It is a farce. It is a front. It is a way to keep the base ginned up. It is a way for Stephen Miller to have 21 ejaculations a month. It is not helpful. If you really want to fix the problem, you would go to those white dudes that own the orange factories. You would go to those white dudes that do the cow stuff. You would go where the immigrants are working and you would cut that off, but you're not doing that. So I don't want to hear anyone talking about, oh, I feel so safe now. No, the fuck you don't.
Yeah.
You don't feel safe. You don't. Because if they were coming to your neighborhood, riding around in your neighborhood, whether you stay in a good neighborhood, middle class, you would not want them there. You wouldn't. You wouldn't.
Yeah. And I would say pretty much it is like hypocrisy on their part. And then what it is also objectifying like brown folks and black folks. Because like if you haven't like taken the time to get the chance to know us and built like a rapport with us to know like the struggles that we gone through, you wouldn't be objectifying us and labeling us like all like Hispanics or like illegal immigrants like and then I know at one point he said like the president of Puerto Rico.
Yes.
Yeah. So that just shows like you lack that knowledge of like the Hispanic Latino community and also with the African American community. So if you get a chance to know us, then you know like our struggles and then what we gone through. But then with them, they're so fixated on like power that they don't want to get a chance to know us. So they just label us like this and that. And you see they trying to erase our history. And then they trying to send like the brown people out of the country. And then truth be told, like they the legal immigrants. And then you think about Trump. So I'm wondering like, okay, his wife is not from the United States.
Oh no, but she's a good one, Tracy. She's a good one because she is here because she had to subject herself to a white guy. So he was able to subordinate her. So she's a good one. As long as you can get here and you have to attach yourself to a white person that can tell you what to do, oh, they'll take it, especially if you're a woman. All right. Like it bothers me with women that support these guys. Do you not realize they're trying to take your rights away? They are literally trying to get it to where if you're not married or if on your license you don't have the married name, you can't vote. They're trying to pull this banana in the tailpipe. Or like, and the women that work with the administration, you're trying to get us to believe that you cool with that. You cool with that. You cool with not having your own voice. You want your voice to always have to go through your husband. You cool with that,
Yeah.
right? So it bothers me that they give up that power. And folks, just leave me your comments. Like we've got to continue to fight back. You fight back by getting creative, the way those businesses are doing, saying we're not letting ICE up in here. You fight back by recording as much as you can, because a day of retribution, people, it will come, but it's only going to come if you resist and if you vote and start voting in those local elections just as much as you do presidential and midterms. And speaking of which, here's another subject me and Tracy want to discuss, that elections have consequences for those of you that triple trumped. The government shutdown. It's shut down, ladies. And it's on like day number 17 or something like that.
No, it's day 22, I think.
Oh, it's day 22. Oh,
yes.
Good Lord, have mercy. It's almost Thanksgiving.
It's day 22.
Well, folks, let me give you the latest news update, and then we'll come back and kind of show you a list of people that are having to kind of get creative about the things that they're missing out on because of the shutdown. So let's give you the backdrop of the shutdown first.
Welcome on back now, 6:45. Look, it's the 16th day of a government shutdown, and some lawmakers, they're saying it could stay closed through Thanksgiving. Federal employees, they've already seen some of the consequences of a shutdown, and food assistance programs, those could be next. So let's go live to Scripps News Group national correspondent Joe St. George, who's live in D.C. And Joe, how could these programs be impacted, and what are states doing to prepare?
Yeah, and we should note there are hundreds of thousands of people in Colorado paying attention to this as we talk about the impact on SNAP. Remember, SNAP is funded through the U.S. Department of Agriculture. The USDA is notifying states this morning that if this shutdown stretches into November, the funds may not be there to make that payment to Colorado, to local jurisdictions that administer SNAP. This morning, Jefferson County up in Metro Denver are indicating that they are putting some SNAP applications on hold as a direct result of this government shutdown. The state of Minnesota this morning, on their website, they're no longer approving any new applications in the entire state of Minnesota. Again, the threat is this shutdown goes into November, the money not being there for the November check, and therefore SNAP programs being impacted. Doesn't look, though, at least for the time being, that the Trump administration will save SNAP the way that it has paid military members, for instance, paid federal law enforcement officers, kept the program WIC going, the Special Supplemental Nutrition Program for women, infants, and children. Doesn't look like SNAP is going to receive that same treatment, at least not yet. As far as federal workers go, remember, north of 4,000 have been permanently fired during the shutdown. A San Francisco judge has ordered those firings to be paused, so there's some legal questions about those firings still. Yesterday, the Trump administration said firings could increase soon, north of 10,000 firings being on the table. Our viewers, I know, ask, right? Boy, another story about the shutdown. This story never ends. Well, we're covering it because the longer this goes on, the more impacts play out.
Exactly right. Thank you. Joe St. George live in Washington, D.C.
Tracy, let me tell you what the disgusting part about this is for me. There's people trying to blame the Democrats, a lot of Republicans, the dumbing down of the American society. They don't understand the three branches of government. And sometimes I feel like you don't even know who's in control of the government. Literally every branch of the government, executive, legislative, and the one that's supposed to be impartial, the judiciary, are all Republican controlled. And not just Republican controlled, MAGA Republican controlled. And I'm so tired of folks who don't have enough intellectual intelligence to look up facts because they're so afraid it will go against their belief system. And if you are racist, if you've been taught your whole life that Black people, Democrats, and women are the problem, when you start doing research, you'll learn they're not the problem. Probably take a look in the mirror at yourself. You the problem, white guy. While the government is shut down, Tracy, this is what Trump is doing with the taxpayers' money to the tune of $200 million. Look at that shit. Look at that shit, ladies and gentlemen. While you can't get benefits, you're struggling already because of his policies. You're struggling because of his little stupid tariff tantrum. You're struggling because he's shutting down the government because he don't want y'all to have health care. And sadly, Tracy, there are more Republicans on health care, Obamacare, and SNAP and benefits than there are Black people and Democrats. Yeah. And the Democrats are fighting for your asses. And you don't know it and you blaming us. Floor is yours, Tracy. And then I got some other stuff to show you around this shutdown where people are so messed up, they've got to go get volunteer services. But the floor is yours for now.
Yeah. Like I said, I think it's a sad situation because you have at least over 40 million people that receive SNAP benefits throughout the United States. And then SNAP has been beneficial for individuals of low income to help them finance their food, to help feed their families and for themselves, to help alleviate hunger. And then when you have the government shutdown and then a decision hasn't been made and you're looking at day 22 and then almost day 23 for tomorrow because the shutdown been effective October the 1st. It's no decision is made. And that's why with politics, you have to have a heart for people. And I don't see most of these Republicans having a heart for people. It's are you here to serve the people or are you here to serve man with Trump? That's how I feel. I know me and my coworker was talking. I remember my coworker saying I think he got some secrets out on some of these Republicans because they not standing up for the people. They pretty much doing what Trump telling them to do. And then he got this ballroom he trying to build. What is it? Trying to feed his ego. And then you have people, they at risk of starving. So it's going to get crazy. And then you got the holidays coming up with Thanksgiving. How they going to eat and survive?
This is why they take education away from people, Miss Tracy. This is why they continuously want to dumb down and restrict education. Because if people knew the power they could have with their collective vote, and people knew the nice things they could have with the government's money instead of giving it to these rich guys to do this type of shit. Because folks, this is your money.
Yeah.
That $200 million, that is your money. And while people, while people are shut down and can't get food, he's building this with your money. And some of y'all is okay with that as long as those black people, those women, and those minorities ain't happy. I'm happy. Well, eventually, folks, you being happy ain't gonna feed your stomach.
Right.
You being happy is not gonna help your health. Especially some of you West Virginia folks with one snagger tooth hanging off the damn mountain. That tooth is gonna come out, and you're gonna need some help.
That's true.
Let me get to this story of what people are having to do, and I'm gonna show you this guy right here. He has special needs, and he's blaming Democrats for him losing the SNAP. Now, Tracy, this is what I know about
Democrats.
He's blaming the Democrats. He's blaming the Democrats. Now, you got to. He has special needs, and this is what I know about special needs folks because I worked with them for about a whole decade.
Yeah,
especially young ones. They are some of the most susceptible people to this nationalistic American freedom bullshit and the American flag. They are the same people that'll go to a wrestling event and believe it's real and believe in all this patriotism and waving the flag and really think that that's true. It's easy to manipulate these special needs dudes. So take a listen to this video and take a look at what some people are having to do to get creative because they can't make ends meet and they can't get the food and services that they need right now. Take a look at this.
This is Ohio, at Republican Congressman Warren Davidson's town hall meeting. That's a state that voted for Donald Trump by more than 11 points last year. We'll let you hear what his voters think of his vote on Donald Trump's signature domestic spending bill.
The big, beautiful bill is projected to take Medicaid away from as many as 500,000 people. How will you explain your vote to the people who will no longer be able to afford to see their doctor?
As I said early on, the only people who are losing access to Medicaid aren't affected in Ohio because we didn't add illegals to Medicaid coverage. And able-bodied working-age adults. And I honestly think most of them will still keep access to Medicaid because they'll probably get a job. Or they'll probably go to school. And lots of people are hiring, so I think most of them aren't going to lose anything. It's going to be great.
Thanks to the Democrats, I may not get food stamps next month. I've been checking here lately, I don't know why. Trying to hold this phone steady. Blood sugar is 108. So it's good. 173 over 83. Blood pressure.
We're just walking through the food bank line, about to get some free groceries because of the shutdown.
Today is only for federal employees and contractors from the federal government. I have never seen anything like going on like this, even with our regular food pantry. It's never been this many people.
I don't ever slow up, no I don't take shit, I got no love for the fakeness. If you wanna play tough,
it's overwhelming, it's mind-boggling. I myself work for the Department of Agriculture, so yes, and I've run into quite a few co-workers here.
Well, I didn't think I'd be in the food bank line. I got a raise right before the government shut down. So we're kind of the opposite is happening right now.
I mean, it's really no words. It's like, wow, I can't believe I'm here, you know, because you always thought that getting a government job or, you know, a federal job, that's security. And it's not, you know.
Oh, this is very important. I mean, you know, with my rent due next week, I could take anything I can get. At this point, I haven't gotten a paycheck this month. You gotta save every dime at this point. You know, with rent, car insurance, student loans, those are not stopping. Gas, electricity, but this is a bit more flexible, you know, so this is great.
Lord have mercy, Tracy. I'm gonna give the floor to you, but I want to throw this in there real quick. Do a lot of people, I guess they can't see the wool being pulled over their eyes and what is actually going on in America when it comes to the rich corporations and the oligarchs and Trump and Project 2025. They are literally trying to make it so that there is no bridge, that you have to be beholding to someone who is giving you a job. That's what they're doing. They're purging the government and workers so that you have to be beholding to someone giving you a job. And if that person can't satisfy what you need, you're ass out of luck. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
That's what they did with this budget. They literally cut the budget, but they cut taxes, but increased the budget. And the average person who is complaining about the government and the taxes that are coming out of their check don't understand that when Trump gives you that little extra child tax credit, all that is papering over something to make you think you're getting ahead, when in the back end, everything else is going to go up because our debt has gone up. And the debt has gone up because why? Because you gave the fucking rich dudes who don't need a tax break another tax break, and you spread across that debt to the regular working American people. Now, y'all, come on now. You got to wake up and start understanding what's going on. Having said that, Tracy, the floor is yours. Talk to me about what you think about the shutdown. Pull a little tink thinking the Democrats done him wrong. Just give it all to me, hard and fast.
Yeah, because what it is like they're brainwashed, and then all of this rivalry, like it's the Democrats' fault, and then really like they control like the House seat and the Senate seat, and then so I think it's unfair to sit here and blame Democrats, and pretty much their plan was to pursue Project 25, and then you have like Democrats that had the balls enough to stop it, and that's why they here to say, hey, like it's real live people here that needs like medical insurance, and then that's going to be affected next year. So you think food SNAP benefits is worse, Medicaid, that's going to be a bit effective like next year. And then so it's unfortunate when then you see like federal workers, like, and then one of them they mentioned that they've been working with the federal government for a while. She didn't see herself in this position to be in line, and I believe that was in Atlanta, if I'm not mistaken, to be in line to get food. And then so my sister, like, she works for the federal government as well, affected by the shutdown. And I know like people in my sorority, they're affected by the shutdown. I feel like it's a sad situation. And then it shows like with Trump, he cares more about himself and the rich people versus like the democracy of individuals as a whole, in which it led me to think like everything made perfect sense, because I know when he got sworn in January, he didn't put his hand on the Bible. If you notice that. He never,
that dude don't care about no Bible. You kidding me?
Because he knew what he was going to do.
You remember his first term when he was trying to get the military to shoot the people that was protesting, and he pulls out that Bible for the photo op. Dude pulls out the Bible, holding it upside down. Somebody had to tell him, President, that guy ain't never read one verse in the Bible his whole entire life. Never.
And then it shows.
He don't care.
And I believe with this term, it's more about revenge to me versus like caring for like humanity. Because I know just recently he's hoping to get like a $250 million compensation for like what happened. I want to say it was in 2020.
He's trying to get the DOJ to pay him $250 million for them investigating him for inciting the riot on January 6th. Who does that?
Narcissistic. I don't know what it is.
But Tracy, guess what? Because everybody has been laying down for his dumb ass, they probably lay down on this one. The Supreme Court is backing him up on everything. And so I do believe if it gets to the Supreme Court, they're going to tell him, give him the money. And I do believe that some of them people on the Supreme Court is bought to. I mean, matter of fact, we know that Clarence Thomas, bad as I hate to say it, the worst justice ever, and he's got to be a
Really?
black. He's being bought by Harlan Crow, buying this man RVs and shit. And you trying to tell me they impartial? No way, no way. And you know what, Tracy? I just say, let them have their fun. They will come. And I just hope that when the Democrats get control and we get a Democratic president, I hope he has seen the blueprint that Trump has put before him.
Yeah.
Ramrod everything you can with executive orders, my brother, because you're going to have to clean up what Trump did. You're going to have to go and punish these people legally as far as the law can punish them. And then you've got to do something about that Supreme Court. But their day is going to come. I don't want Trump to die no time soon. I do not want Trump to die before his term is up. I don't. A lot of people are saying he's about to kick the bucket now, Tracy. I do not want to see him die. I need to see him and his whole little cabal rot in prison for the way they have treated people and the way they just showed their ass to the American people and embodied making it okay to be dumb, making it okay to be racist, and making it okay to think that everything should be controlled by a single white guy. I want them to see punishment.
But you know, like the crazy thing, and this is something that Dr. William H. Barber talked about when he was the former North Carolina NAACP president. He mentioned that America has a schizophrenia problem. And then and I was going to write about this, and I think it's a schizophrenia problem, but I think America has a narcissistic personality disorder problem with white supremacists. They want to control everything. They want to control how we live. They don't want us to thrive and be successful. And long as they in control, that's all that matters. And then you have like brown folks and African American folks. We suffer from PTSD. And I compared it to like because I work in mental health, where like I'm someone who's have PTSD from just like something what the narcissist is doing. And then so the narcissist can't look in the mirror and see they causing destruction in this country. So that's how I view it as.
I would agree with that. And I think that this country, we definitely need a cleansing. That's for sure.
Deep cleansing, yes.
And the kind of cleansing we need, ladies and gentlemen, is not the one I'm getting ready to talk about now. Lord have mercy. Ladies and gentlemen, post your comments. If you like what we're doing, please be sure to go to beacons.ai/politics of being black. You can leave me a voicemail. You can get connected to every single social media I'm located on, and you can get the newsletter. There is an ugly trend that was started by the Republicans capitulating to Trump, and it was started in Texas. It has now hit North Carolina. But for those of you that can't guess what I'm talking about, let me refresh your memory.
There was a bill in 2021 that all the Democrats supported that would have had a national ban on redistricting in this way, and all the Republicans opposed it. I also heard no complaints from any Republican when Mike Johnson, just a couple weeks ago, decided to abdicate his job to say, actually, Congress isn't in session anymore because I don't want to have to vote on turning over the Epstein files, the bill put forward by Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie. He said, let's go home rather than talk about the fact that Donald Trump may or may not have been in there. All right. So be equal opportunity in your complaints about fleeing your job. At least they're doing this for a good reason.
Tommy,
Ladies and gentlemen, the Texas redistricting issue has hit the state me and Tracy live in. And when I say it's uglier than what it is in Texas, I mean it is ugly. Like, Lord have mercy. Take a look at what's going on in North Carolina and the way they have gerrymandered this map. Even if you're a hardcore Republican, you should be upset. But I know your asses ain't. Take a look at this.
We're here in Raleigh by the General Assembly, where hundreds of protesters gathered earlier today, livid at the fact that their state legislature is about to pass new gerrymandered congressional maps.
I'm pissed. I am pissed that our representation is falling into what is happening all over the country.
President Trump called on Republican state legislatures from across the country to pass new maps so the GOP can lock in new seats ahead of next year's midterms.
Top to bottom, this is corrupt. People have to fight back. It has to be now. It has to be us. No one is coming to save us.
This new map replaces communities with lots of black voters in the 1st Congressional District with whiter communities, more coastal communities, more conservative communities that are going to make it easier for the GOP to win the 1st Congressional District next year.
I grew up doing Jim Crow in Asheville, and I know what it is to be shut out of politics. I went through this once, and going through it once, and I thought the civil rights and the voting rights laws were passed. All of this was in the past. But since Donald Trump came to power, it is resurfacing. And if we're not careful, we're going to lose what little bit we do have.
And the man caught in the middle of all this is Congressman Don Davis, a Democrat who currently represents the 1st Congressional District, who could lose his seat with this new map.
Absolutely, I'm frustrated when we see maps being drawn and rolled out, not just here in North Carolina, but across the nation. You look and you see, and it looks that Washington is broken, and it is. This would be, going forward in 2026, a third campaign for me under a third different map.
Republicans control the state House here, they control the state Senate, and the Democratic governor doesn't have the power to veto these maps, so we're expecting them to be finalized by the end of the day on Wednesday.
In a 50-50 state where about half the people voted for a Democrat for House, U.S. House, half voted for a Republican, they want to have 79% be Republican, 21% Democrat. That's 4 out of 5. It is an abuse of representative democracy. It is not how it's supposed to work. In our democracy, in our representative democracy, the voters are supposed to elect their representatives. The representatives are not supposed to select their voters to guarantee their reelection.
Tracy, all I can say is Democrats, when you get power back, you better wield that bitch. Wield it hard. Floor is yours, Tracy. Lord have mercy.
That is just pure ugly. They just blatantly showing like they want to control the seat. And then so they know for 2026, that's going to be a big year. So what they trying to do is they trying to get ahead of the game, but they doing it blatantly ugly. And I know like in the state of North Carolina, the mayor, the governor doesn't have a right to veto that bill. It's unfortunate. And then so that's why it's really important to vote. And if y'all not paying attention, I don't know what's going to make y'all pay attention. And this is an example why you should vote. And so now, like I know they said with gerrymandering, it can't be done unless it's racially motivated. And that's obviously racially motivated. So I won't be surprised if the Attorney General file a lawsuit on this. And I'm just waiting for the news to come out where he just filed a lawsuit because that's illegal gerrymandering. That's racially motivated. And it's obvious.
It's just like Ron Davis said, Tracy, they have done this 3 separate times, 3 times. And he's had to get his position in 3 different locations because they keep having to go to court because the North Carolina Republican Supreme Court said that the way y'all did this map is so bad, even we gonna say no.
It's obviously racially motivated. It's blatantly obviously.
Right. It's so bad that the Republican Supreme Court here says no to it. They say no. So you know we've got some issues with the map. And this one is going to be fought too. It's just like I said earlier in the call to action, I need people to not just pay attention to politics on a national scale. You've got to pay attention to politics in your state, in your county, in your city, and in your small country because it is so important. And as you see now, the micro can certainly affect the macro. And I think we might have lost Tracy. Can you hear me, Tracy?
I can hear you. I'm here.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us know what you think about all this. And let's give a big shout out to the homie Tracy for coming through and spending this time with us. You're welcome to come back anytime you want to. Class, that's it for us today. Don't forget to like the video, comment, subscribe. Please share this new channel of mine. If you're coming from my big YouTube channel where I do the movie and TV show reviews, thank you for coming, but share these politics. This is more important than the movie and TV show reviews. I promise you. That's not going anywhere. But politics is, and the place I want us to go is back to democracy and equality.
Yeah, and please.
Any last words? Any last words for the people, Miss Tracy?
Please get out and vote. This information, this platform that we share as far as like ICE attacking like urban cities like Chicago, LA, Portland, Oregon, and then you have like SNAP benefits could possibly be halted in November, and then also Medicaid will also follow along in 2026. And the gerrymander, everything that's going on, please educate yourself and get out and vote and spread the word to others who don't know. Like I mentioned before, like I had like a client and he wasn't aware of it. So he mentioned that he voted for Trump because he thought he was going to get a stimulus check. And they don't know this. So it's important to show this and have this platform and then show this in their face. This is what's going on. This is real. We're like in the Jim Crow 2.0.
Right.
So please get out and vote.
So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we have got to fight back as best we can. Huge shout out to Miss Tracy. You guys can find her on Instagram. I'll put a link in description to catch up with her, support her as she's out here doing her thing. And you guys know you'll be seeing me all the time. And that's going to do it for this video. Don't forget to like it, comment, subscribe. Here's my outro of my girl who's about to lose her House seat too because of the gerrymandering, but I see her going somewhere else. The bad sister herself, Jasmine Crockett. Till the next video, folks, we are out.
All right.
Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body. Somebody's bleach blonde, bad built butch body.